Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. The LIFE program is one of the most popular EU funding schemes. Administered by European Climate Infrastructure and Environment Executive Agency, the program is funding primarily 1. Pilot and demonstration activities related to sustainable technologies, and 2. Securing that EU sustainability measures is integrated in national, regional, and local policies. Many working with Horizon Europe within these areas will be familiar with the program. Of course, the grant will also zoom in on this funding scheme. As always, I start out with the authoritative, the grant introduction to the funding scheme. For this, I have invited LIFE program expert and environmental knowledge area coordinator Maite Zazpe Cenoz from grants and innovation consultancy company Zabala Innovation Consulting into the virtual podcast studio to take us all through the key elements of the program, how to apply, eligibility conditions, and so on. As with all my funding scheme introduction, this became a long one, so it is divided into 2 episodes. Last week, in the first half, we covered the structure of the funding program, the target groups, and funding rates. And in this second half, we move into how to apply, evaluation regime, what happens when funding is received, and finally some do's and don'ts. This episode is essential for all working with the LIFE program and are thinking about approaching it. Please enjoy. Grant.
So they have also like a co-funded, the activities could be co-funded.
Did we talk about that?
No.
But then let's just wind a little bit back to the strategic projects. Or do you think it is related to how to apply?
No, maybe in how to apply we could.
Good.
See
Well,
this
let's just jump right into it because it's sort of interwoven anyways. How to apply for LIFE funding here, as you can hear out there, it's not a simple explanation because you have different proposal types here. Now, the proposal types follow the subcategories, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So let's start with the most common. The standard.
Yes. With related with how to apply, do you refer in the funding and tenders portal, and how is the application, the submission of the application?
About that, I would like us to share with the listeners number of pages. How many partners? So here it's sort of they're listed here on top of each other, right? But we should have a talk about how many partners do you need on board? What's the funding rate? But the reason why this is getting a long is because we have several we need to run through, right?
Yeah. Let's start. With the common one, that it's the standard action projects. That is basically the funding rate. It's 60%, and here
what's the overhead?
The overhead's 7%.
Exactly. So people used to Horizon Europe, this is a very different regime.
Very different.
So funding rate 60 and overhead 7%.
60%. Overhead 7%. That's very important, in comparison with Horizon Europe. Then so the application it's the same as in the Horizon Europe, through the funding and tenders portal, and commonly a consortium. A good thing of the LIFE is that you don't have any requirement in terms of the consortium. No, it could be one partner of one country or 20 partners.
This is this is a key difference, right? When it comes to what kind of consortium you need together. You don't have also people familiar with Horizon, the framework program calls. Some are used to sometimes very detailed descriptions of the kind of partners you would need to fulfill the strategic research call description that you have here. It's quite simple. You don't have that kind of directions that you need to follow.
No. What we said here is to include in the consortium those ones that you think are relevant actors to be involved because they are carry out actions in the project. No. So, but a common consortium could be between 3 and 7
That's
partners.
also what I remember.
This is the typical one. The typical one, yes. We have funded projects of one partner. It's possible, but you should ensure that all the activities could be done, no? The dissemination and communication, exploitation, replica. So it's difficult, no, that one partner could accomplish everything, no, but it could
sometimes
happen. Okay, so
yeah, because if you have to do that, then it's more a medium-sized company than a small company, right? And or for instance, I think I remember one of my contacts that was actually on this podcast, a recycling company, a public-private, recycling company that were big enough to handle a live project, right? Where you have the functions, you have a couple of communication people hired, anyways, you have the technical parts, also engineers, and you have the actual people that carry things out, like in the recycling stations and so on.
It's possible, because you could have, as you say, a dissemination department and so on. So it's possible to manage a live project only one entity. Also related the budget, as we mentioned before, more or less could be between 1 million euro until 5 or something like that. Okay, usual project could be like 2 million euro of budget or something like that. Okay, it depends of the type of project. No.
What's funded and what's not funded?
Here, okay. It's you could find here, as we mentioned, research activities are not funded and large infrastructures are not funded, but you could find here personnel. It's very similar with Horizon Europe. No, the main difference it's maybe related with the equipment. No, what I mentioned before of that, but also you have other goods and services, that is the travel and subsistence. Also, you could, as I mentioned, is it possible to have financial support to third parties? Also, but it's very similar. Also, subcontracting, it's considered that should be less than 30%. That is quite important.
Okay, but it's still high, huh?
Yeah. It's still high. If it's higher than 30%, you have to explain it, no, a lot.
And this is because this is of course a mirror of the actual activity that the Commission wants with this, right? Because they know that when you reach this stage, it's and the structure of that you can do with few partners, then sometimes you will need a service that's quite expensive. It can be equipment that needs to be adjusted, or it can be an actual pilot production demonstration thing where you don't need them in the consortium, and you maybe don't need to buy the actual equipment, but you need someone to set it up. And so you have all these kind of activities that can be a little bit expensive, but you need them to be able to show how things work.
It's completely agree. It's very common to have high subcontracting, less than 30%, but it's easy to find 15% of subcontracting of those activities related to pilots.
What's not funded?
Well, it's not funded, as I say, the large infrastructures.
Oh yeah.
Also, well, in the case of, for example, in the case of Life Clean Energy Transition, well, this subprogram is not funded the equipments and other goods, because these projects are focused, these kind of projects are focused in other type of activities, no, are not related with technological development, are related with non-technological issues, no, those
Okay.
ones
Yeah, yeah.
are more similar to coordination and support actions, no,
Uh-huh.
are so. But yeah, basically there are a lot of things that could be funded now in the life project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing we already size proposal and propose eligibility criteria.
Yes. Well,
But
from
I think
the
we actually covered.
yeah, for the eligibility, yeah, you have to submit the administrative information. It's very similar to the Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the technical proposal, you have a maximum of 120 pages. That it's quite different from the Horizon Europe, no? That you have a lot of pages here, 120. Although you have a lot of pages, it should be everything like very clear and precise, very concise. Because it's and it is because 120 pages could be quite tricky, no? Because you could
Ah,
start writing.
oh my goodness, it's the longer the worse.
Yeah.
Everybody who's been writing a proposal know that you're always short of space. It doesn't matter. Like you have
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
have 120, you could use 10
Yeah,
pages.
yeah. I write 120, and I was lucky, lack of and I found lack of space. I don't know how.
No, but it's always like this. It's always
Yes.
like this. Okay, size of
Um,
proposals, but but proposal structure. So if we what you have to have in the proposal, we don't have to share with people how we write a proposal, because that's an episode by itself. Yeah, but the structure of the template.
yeah, yeah. The template is not very friendly, okay, because
At
it's
all. Horrible.
it's like it's like a table. Okay, you have to include the text like in the squares, no, and it's not very friendly. But I mean, it's okay. In the past, it
Let's,
was
you know
worse.
what? I want to get back to that in a second, but first we just share with the listeners what are the boxes. So what categories do you have in the
Yes.
proposal? So you have
Yes, you have here, it's quite similar to Horizon, in fact, because you have the relevance part that it's quite similar to excellence part, no? That is with the background and the objectives. And here you have to explain very well the environmental problem, okay,
Mhm,
that this new technology is going to solve, and why it's a relevant environmental project for Europe. Also to explain, for example, if you have carried out a previous RTD project, no? You have to explain it here in this section. Then you have also to explain the objectives, how this project or this proposal is aligned with the objectives and the priorities of the LIFE program.
mhm,
Also the concept and the methodology. Also, you have to explain how the proposal is built of other funded project results, the complementarity also with other actions, and synergies and co-benefits with different European policies, and so on. There's the second part is the impact. When you have to explain here the ambition of the impacts, the credibility, the exploitation of the project, the
mhm.
replication and upscaling, and then
Ah, yeah.
you have the
Replication.
implementation that it's well, the impact is quite different from, it's similar to Horizon, but it's quite particular here.
Uh-huh.
And the implementation, it's the work plan within the work packages, the stakeholder engagement, the impact monitoring, and the communication and dissemination part.
Mhm,
And the fourth part is the resources with the consortium setup,
mhm.
project management, and also a section here in life, it's the green management. Okay, that you have to consider your environmental impact in the project. Okay, for example,
Yeah.
you are going to avoid traveling in order to be more environmental friendly, or for example, you are going to make like green public procurement during the project or things like that.
You
Okay.
have. Now, we're not going into detail with this because then it's going to be a very long episode.
Yes.
But I remember that you have to make this Excel spreadsheet where
Yeah.
you have to make baseline
Yeah.
and what the proposal will impact on each of the categories of different environmental like emissions stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, all proposals need to do something like this. Understand the standard action, right?
Yeah, that is a very important part. That is the key performance indicators.
Uh-huh.
That is
It's
something
horrible.
completely horrible. Yeah, every all our customers say that it's horrible.
It
Yes,
is.
it is. But yes, and in this case, this is a mandatory part that it's an online form that you have to complete it. And for example, if your project is focus on circular economy, you have specific indicators that you have to complete it, no, related.
Uh,
For example, the number of tons that you are going to avoid related with waste.
uh,
Yeah, but it's quite complex to do this exercise. Yeah,
it's horrible.
it's one of the difficulties of the life projects. Yeah.
This is definitely why you would be happy with a consultant to help you. And I don't just say this because I have one in here in the virtual podcast studio, but I know it because I've been looking at it myself. And if I had not been a consultant, or if I had to do it myself, I would have lost my mind probably.
Also, Niels, another difference with Horizon Europe is that here you could include any type of annex. Okay, so letters of support
Oh
are
yeah.
quite important. Here you could include annexes without no limit of page.
Uh,
Okay, so letters of support are like very welcome here, but if the letter of support is like very specific and very detailed, okay, not to include generic letters, no, of different stakeholders.
mhm.
But if you included the proper ones with very specific message, they are very well evaluated. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I remember that. Collecting them. Okay, that was
Yes.
the standard action projects,
Yeah.
right? Integrated.
Yeah, well, integrate, it's quite specific. In the case of integrate projects, you could find these are two-stage projects, okay, two-stage proposals that you have to, one stage part, no, the concept note that you submit like a document, okay, a concept note. I don't remember, I think it's like 45 pages or something like that, and it's
It's
more related with the excellent part. No, you have to explain for example, if you are going to address a new circular economy plan of a region, explain it very well,
Mhm.
which activities are going to address. And also you have to complete other type of forms for this kind of projects. For example, you have to complete like some declaration that you are going to mobilize different funds of the region. It has some specificity. I mean, the framework that I explained for the preparation of the proposal, it's quite common for all of them,
Mhm.
but some of them has some specificities depending of the program.
Have you supported a strategic one?
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, I have been. This is not so common, this kind of projects, because I mean they are very large. But yeah, I have been supported one strategic, yeah,
mhm.
project here in Spain. Yes.
So can you Now, we're not going to go too much into detail with that
Yeah.
because they're very specific and you don't have that much of them. So fewer listeners will be dealing with this. But can you share just a little bit what you need to collect? Because you need to collect from each. How is it? You need to collect from authorities. How is that?
Yeah, well, these declarations maybe that you have to collect from, well, there is like some declarations that you have obtained funds, no, for other organisms. So you have to collect like a declarations for the authorities, and yeah, but this is very specific for this typology. And these projects are coordinated for the regional authority that has that is going to implement this plan related with environment or with climate change adaptation or mitigation. And usually these projects are quite big. Okay, you could find strategic integrated projects or 6 partners, but also of 50 partners. Okay, and so, but this is a very interesting call for public authorities, regional public authorities that has developed a new plan.
Yeah. Is there a limited number of partners for those?
No, you don't have. It's the same. You don't have here. Well, the difference is that the consortium is a regional one. Okay, it's very because it's completely focused to develop to implement a plan in the region. So it's usual to find here like a regional authority, but also local authorities, universities, private companies could be also found here in this type of projects.
Is the funding rate is still the same?
Yeah, 60%. It's the same.
Okay. Those are the two most important things when we run through these things. Is there anything you want to say about the other project types and how to apply here? So
yeah, we could mention maybe the life clean energy transition, that it's the one that it's quite different because it's similar to coordination and support actions. And here you have a page limit of 70 pages here for the clean energy transition, and the funding rate is 95%.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. But these projects are non-technological ones. Okay, so they are, for example, a project could be to promote, I don't know, for example, yes, to develop a new plan related renewable energies in a region, and to mobilize stakeholders or mobilize funds in a region related that. So are very similar, yes, to coordination and support actions here.
What about the technology support? What was it called?
Yes, the technical assistance.
Technical assistance, yeah.
Technical
assistance. I guess that's just normally one entity, or how is that?
Yeah, technical assistance, no, could be one entity or more, but you could find the technical assistance for replication, that it's the new call of this year, that usually the coordinator of the past live project will be the coordinator of this new one. Okay, that could be with one partner of the past consortium or not. Could be alone, but the consortium will be small. That's for sure. And yes, unrelated, the technical assistance for integrated projects, it's usually conferred by the regional authority that is going to coordinate the strategic integrated project. And this is, well, these two categories are much easy to submit, okay, because they have not so much work to submit. These ones, no, are more easy.
Yeah, I think it should be very clear that the standard action projects, they are the normal, so to say. That would be for anyone who's used to writing a Horizon Europe proposal. It's probably a little less effort because you have less partners, so the coordination around a consortium, that kind of that part of the activities. You don't have so much, so it's a little bit more lean in that respect. And then you have the big strategic projects. They are very big. They take a long time to make it, take a long time to prepare, it take a long time to write the proposals. They're complex, normally to make, to develop. So there's a huge work behind each of these. And then you have these smaller ones where it's in more smaller end of efforts that you need to apply. Now, what what I want to touch upon in how to apply is the horrible online platform where you have to submit your proposals, because this is one of the things that many a consultant, many a beneficiary that has approached live and are used to Horizon Europe have cursed the commission endlessly. Why on earth life was not included in the Horizon framework program, exactly for just this reason, because you have to sit in an online system and put your text into text boxes, instead of just developing a proposal, making a PDF.
But now, Niels, this has changed for this new program.
Oh, fantastic!
This is a very good news, because from 2021, because in the past you have to complete, as you say, the proposal that was. It was very hard, very time intense to complete, because also each section has a limit, no characters limitation. So it was quite complex to copy paste everything. It was crazy, but now we are very happy with this. Okay, that you have to upload the proposal, and just
Good.
very similar to Horizon.
I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to hear this, because
good news.
they were so stubborn about this. Keeping a system. People who invent these systems, they should get to do it themselves before they launch them. Oh no, good, happy. So here, people don't have to listen to me complaining, because this is how it used to be. So anyone who would start this now, you just have to prepare your proposal in a document, PDF it, and submit it. That's good.
That's very good. Yes, it's good. Very good news.
Maybe before also we move on, we touch a little bit upon the nature of the work program itself and how it is, because if people are used to the strategic context of Horizon Europe framework programs, where you have them coming in a flow, here in the live program, it's a multi-annual program, which means that it's basically the same text. And then you have correct me if I'm saying something that's wrong, am I right? But normally then each year they update. Maybe I say this year we have a stronger focus on energy projects under like this sub bullet, or this is how it used to be anyways. That do you remember that?
Yes.
How is it now? How do they work with this now? Do they do this each year, where they say this year we will have particular focus on environmental projects that are dealing with like this?
No, you could find that the priority remains the same, more or less, in the work program during the years, the different years. But for example, they highlight some priorities sometimes. No, they have introduced in the program of environmental and circular economy one priority related to the Bauhaus. So you could find here like 3 priorities related to the Bauhaus, for example. And also in the climate change mitigation program, they introduce one priority related renewable energies. No, so you could find maybe some new things, but it's not common. Maybe they introduce one priority that keep it like 3 years, and then another priority. For example, after the COVID, it was a priority related the recycling of the mask, for example. So they have introduced, depending of the policies and the situation, no, maybe one priority or other, but they remains more or less the same.
Okay, so that has changed a little bit. So in other
Yeah,
words, so you have the multi-annual program, and that sort of
yeah,
they don't lean towards something throughout the years, but then you have some places that where they
yeah.
come in and say, this we have this. All
Yes,
right.
this is very good, for the reason that if you don't know, if you have a very good uh, idea, no, related to how to solve a very good technology, it's easy to find a place here in the live program to include it, because the topic, the priorities remains the same, no?
Yes, and that should be highlighted also, right?
Yeah,
For the dear listeners, this is actually a good funding scheme when it comes to exactly this, because this is something that is, of course, always an issue with a funding program like Horizon Europe, where you have strategic call text for big parts,
yeah,
for the industrial parts, the innovation parts, that if you miss a call that fit, it's not coming back.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
not. It's a huge issue when you, especially when you
Mm,
like you, Maite, and me, who have worked with
yeah.
this earlier. You sit with a client or with a
Mm,
beneficiary, and they have
yes.
something that fits, and the deadline is in a month. You say, forget it.
Mm.
And when can we apply again? Well, you
Oh,
can't. You
also,
can't.
yeah, yeah, yes, of course. And also, I have to say, Niels, that in Horizon Europe program, I found that environmental topics are quite complex, are getting complex since Horizon
Yeah,
2020, because the
yeah,
topics
yeah, yeah.
related circular economy
Mm.
needs like a very big consortium to address a lot of issues. So it's very complex to submit something in
Yeah.
those topics. So life could be
It's
a good opportunity.
it's good if you don't need to do research.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of
Uh,
course.
Really, it's good if you are a company that could fit into an innovation action where you would be a small wheel
Yeah.
in a huge context with 20 partners, where you would sort of be able to do the same if it was a close to market horizon call.
Mhm.
Then uh, you can say, okay, then it looks a little bit like life, but of course in that case my recommendation would be to go for life, because you can have a much bigger control over what you're doing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
which is also that this is why they made it like this. At this stage, you should have more control over it as a company than having big strategic
Yes,
societal change project, because that's where it goes, right? With a lot of the horizon part, big strategic project. Like we need to
yes,
solve a lot of things, but for the individual company that has developed a technological solution, they that has a pain with like the risk of investing in a parallel production site or whatever.
mhm,
It's down to that here when you come to this stage. Like they just
yes,
need to try to test things. They don't need to go in with 20 partners to save
yeah,
the
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And they each have their justification. So because it's the horizon, of course they need to solve some issues, or need to start somewhere. But for the individual company, sure, if you can handle it like this, uh, life is a good solution, because I think it isn't that it how to apply. Do we have
excuse
it?
me. Yeah,
It hasn't haven't we covered it more or less, this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
block,
I think
how
we
to apply?
cover. Yes, we cover more or less how
I
to
think
apply. Yeah.
maybe, as with our experience, Maite, on
Mm.
when you should prepare yourself. So
Yes,
if this is
maybe it's important to emphasize, Niels, that you need time for the preparation of the proposal, that it's an intensive work, but maybe the call will be launched and published maybe next April or May.
Mhm.
So if the deadline is in September, you have to start like very early to prepare or start writing, no, prepare the proposal, no, because it takes time to prepare a good proposal. Okay,
uh,
because although the consortium is small, the level of detail that it's need for a live project is quite high.
and it's,
So
of course, it's the issue of Marty, I know it, all people who've been working with private companies, especially SMEs with this, know it, that it's a paradox, right? Because the companies, if they fit this, often they would say, but we need to start in 3 months.
Yeah.
But and then guys, then people like you and me, we come and say, yeah, but you can apply now and you need to prepare a proposal, and then 6 months after you submit it, if you get the funding, then you can, so you have to look a year and a half ahead. So of course you have a specific category of companies in the where you are in your steps towards the technology you're dealing with that would suit to this, because many says, but we can't wait for that. So they
it happens a lot.
So as Maite just said, you deadline September, then try to start 6 months before. At least 6 months. 6 months is a good shot, I would say. Then you can 4 months before you still make it, but there's a chance it's going to be a little too rushed. 2 months before, don't.
No. And it's summer.
Please don't. 1 month before, you're on your own, or you're going to destroy a consultant's nerves. Yeah. Now, I think but this just popped up to me, right, about experience about how to write these things. But yes, time to deadline, that's important. Anything else, then of course always consider who you need to do it with here. And contact people. Contact the people you want to work with well in advance to make sure that they're on board. And understand the funding rate, because that's a deal breaker often.
We have cases that they at the end they say that, I am not going to participate, and because of the funding rate.
That's a two big deal breakers. That's the time to project start, right? And then the funding regime. So the rate. If it's too painful, well, then do something else.
Yes.
All right. I think that's it. Let's have a talk about evaluation. And now, maybe before we move on, I should say it. Well, I would like, and we can do it together, Maite, if you want, or you can bring someone on board. What I would like to do is to have an episode where we talk about specific proposal preparation. Yeah, because I made when I started this podcast, that was what I started with. I made a what I call the timeline series, where I broke down the proposal preparation process in episodes. So I have 23 episodes, I think. But that's for Horizon Pillar 2 proposals. But of course, many of the steps are related to generic, right? But I would like to have one episode talking about how to prepare a proposal for the live program. So it's you're invited for that.
Thank you so much, Niels.
But I would what I have done, and that will be released sometime soon. I did a panel for Erasmus Plus. So I did it that way, instead of having myself sitting for tons of episodes. I took a panel in with 3 people together with myself, where it was a long episode, right? It's 2 hours, but where we took bit by bit, how do you prepare this, how would you do this, and so on. So yeah. But we'll get back to that. You can look forward to that, dear listeners out there. I will try to do it so people can use it for the next call round. Yeah. So it's instrumental for what comes next year, that people can take advantage of that.
Yes.
No. Evaluation. Sorry for blabbering.
Don't worry.
The evaluation regime. How is that for life? How does it?
Yes, it's there are 1, 2, 3, 5 categories that are evaluated, more or less. The first one, it's quite similar to Horizon Europe. The first one, it's the relevance, that it's related with the if you have quantified your objectives, if the concept is well explained, if the proposal that you submit is innovative or not, no?
Mm-hmm.
And this the score is between 10 and 20
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you
Forgot.
remember?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Also, you have the impact that it's something that has been changed in this new program, because in the past the evaluation of the impact, it was between 10 and 20, and now it's between 15 to 30.
Yeah. But how is it? Is it also something with the weight of the points?
Yeah.
No, I'm interrupting.
Yeah, I mean, the weight of the impact now is higher in this new program, in the
Okay.
new Life 2021 2027.
Let's get back to that. So let's first go through the points. Yeah.
You have, yes, the relevance section, that is
Mm-hmm.
one aware criteria is the relevance, other one is the impact,
Mm-hmm.
other one is the quality of the proposal, other one is related with the resources,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one is related with some bonus
Yeah.
that you could obtain if, for example, if your proposal is transnational or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Okay.
Mhm.
And the highest you can get is 100, right?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
And the minimum,
It's
well,
0.
55. Well, yes, the minimum could be 0.
Really bad, really bad proposal.
It's not possible minus 10, but
Yeah, minus.
but the minimum pass score is 55. But we found that maybe you need 60. It depends of the year and of also the if it's nature or environmental, but you need like 65 maybe or 70
Yeah.
in order if you want to be granted.
Yeah. I think the one I made was 65. Wasn't funded.
Well, it's
I think I
not
had
so bad.
65. Yeah. Okay, so that's the point. So let's have so the weight of the points.
Yeah, the weight. Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, the relevance, it's between 10 and 20, the impact between 15 and 30, and the quality and 10 to 20, and resources 10 to 20, and the bonus is until it could be between 0 and 10. Okay.
Yeah.
In the bonus, it's quite difficult to obtain points here. What we see is that it's very important to have a good mark in the relevance, that it's something important, and also in the impact part. Okay. But yeah, it's important you have to pass. This is very important, all the criteria. Okay, because you could find a project that could be very good, but in the part of the resources that is related with the budget, if it's not well explained, or you have a request a lot of budget, maybe you don't pass the score, although your proposal could be very good. But this is very typical for life, that they say the value for money. It's a typical concept of life, that you have to explain very well how you are efficient using the resources. Okay, so this is a difference maybe between Horizon Europe, because you have a budget for a topic that you have to fix more or less, and here you have to defend very well how you estimate your budget and how you have been cost efficiency.
Yeah, the budget. Now we're not going to talk about how to prepare the proposal in this episode, right? But I remember that was a little bit more complex than.
Yeah, now it's easier, because now it's quite similar to funding and tenders, but you have to submit an extra Excel explaining the budget. But it's more simple than in the past. In the past, you have to explain with a lot of level of detail, but in any case, it was carefully evaluated. So, and also you could explain in the work packages your budget a little bit, no? It's important. Yeah.
And so what you say is that it looks like they are paying more attention to the budget in the evaluation of life than in Horizon Europe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because as you don't have any limit, no budget limit here, it should be explained what you consider this budget it will be what you call this within this budget, how you could address the objectives and impact, no, of the project, and how you estimate this budget taking in consideration the value for money, no, to be cost efficient, no, because for example, I am going to use less resources because, well, we are going to use part of the pilot. We have already this part of the pilot ready, no, in our installations, and we are going to buy only this equipment or things. I don't know how to explain, but you have to justify very well.
Or we can also use it for other parts of our production or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. How long do they take to evaluate proposals?
More than in the past, an evaluator. Well, if you refer to the process of evaluation in the past, one evaluator used 1 month to evaluate the proposal. So it's quite different from. I think that now they take less time, but more that in Horizon Europe. But this is related with the process, the time that it's used by the evaluator. But the evaluation process, it's like 6 months, more or less.
6 months.
6 months or more.
Yeah. Again, now there's a back that throws us back to when you need to deal with if you need to approach the program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's of course if you have 6 months preparation until, and then it takes 6 months or so, that doesn't take much calculation hit. So that's a year, and then you have contract negotiations, so
yes, like
14 15 months,
3 months, more.
How many evaluators do they have per proposal?
I think not that one evaluator here.
One?
Yeah.
Okay. And
it's different from Horizon Europe. Yeah.
And how do they choose these people? Is it the same that people they register as evaluator on the live program, and then
I think yes, they have a subcontract like a consultancy company, and they have like evaluators, no, that it's like a tender to find a consultancy to provide evaluators for the live project.
Okay.
From the live program.
Because that's different.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
For the information sharing with the listeners, not in Horizon Europe, people they can register as experts for experts databases under the different clusters in Horizon Europe, and then they are approached when when evaluation time is up, if they would like to be connected and evaluate proposals, and they are paid by the by the commission. They have a rate, so it's individuals, it's not companies that make. I will soon have an evaluation panel. That's very nice. I'm looking forward to that. You can look forward to that out there. Many people have requested that. Do you know any evaluators on live?
No, I don't know any. Well, what is important is it's similar to Horizon in the sense that you don't have a conflict of interest and so on. But I don't know any evaluator.
Because I would be very interested to have an evaluator on board this podcast.
Yeah, well, maybe yes. If I could find some information and send to you, Niels.
That would be, many people would be very interested in that.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we need to share about evaluation?
No, I think this is basically the main important that.
But if we can relate it to the work itself with writing the proposal, naturally, when there's a weight included, of course, weight in your work would also have a tendency to be put into where you have more points available, right?
Yes, well, the trick is that you have to pass all the aware criteria, no? So
Uh,
I think the most intensive work is related with the first part, with the relevance,
uh,
because if this part, I mean, is not good, the evaluator is going to evaluate but the rest of the parts, okay? Because it's the relevance, it's a very critical one.
uh,
Yeah, and if the relevance is good, I mean, it's easy to have a good impact, a good quality in the work packages, no? It's so maybe the relevance and the budget are those ones that could be quite critical, no?
yeah. I think the evaluators that I have had on board for other episodes and
Mm.
talking about evaluation specifically, they have all mentioned that like the first 2 pages,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they are
Yes,
decisive for their perception when they read the rest of the proposal. It doesn't mean that if you write a crap proposal, but besides from the 2 first pages, you're going to get the money. But it's human psychology, yeah, and they don't have much time. So when they read, if they say,
yes,
"God, that's nice," or "That's very well," that's a good idea.
yes, yes.
Then if they get the feeling themselves in their heart, I would really like these guys to have money. Oh, I can give them the money. It's more like yeah. So it's and then of course they put in here a lot of focus on value for money. So budget.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, let's move on to the next block. When receiving funding, we're soon over. We're moving towards the end, but these episodes are per se long. But we're just shortly covering, having a talk about what happens. So, time to contract, we already talked about it.
time to.
So, 6 months preparation of proposal, 6 months for evaluation, and then a couple of months of contract negotiations. Do you know how those contract negotiations they will run? Do you?
Yeah, I have been involved, yeah, in some contract negotiation that
Mhm,
it's usually 2 or 3 months, well,
mhm,
depending of the number of the partners and what issues they request, no, related issues that needs to be clarified for the proposal. Okay, in the past, this process was very difficult, was quite complex,
mhm.
and now it's much more similar to Horizon Europe. Okay, so it's, I mean, in 2 or 3 months it could be solved, this part.
Okay. And how does it work? You are invited for a meeting, and then you have a
Yeah.
panel, or how many people do they say?
In the contract negotiation,
Mm-hmm.
no, you have through the funding and tenders portal, you have a contact with the European Commission, I mean, with some people that could help you to prepare the contract and also with the officer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you solve, they give you some deadlines to fix, no, some parts of the maybe, for example, if something is not clear, they request more information,
Mm-hmm.
or if a budget issue is not clear, yes, they request more information or to explain something. But no, I mean, now it's much more easier than in the past. So you, through the funding and tenders, complete the parts on time and you contact them by email. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, by the funding and tenders portal, you contact them. Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. Typical duration. Yeah. How long are the projects?
Yeah, here, according the guidelines, it could be until 5 years, the longest the one, but a typical duration could be 3 years, more or less, 3 or 4 years. It depends. For example, if in the case of projects that are related with nature or that you depends of climatic conditions or things like that, maybe are longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, or projects related with agriculture, because you need like maybe in 1 year you could carry out only one process, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to carry out your process in autumn or for the conditions
Mm-hmm.
of the soil or whatever. And these projects are longer, could be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and normally the technology, like
Yeah,
demonstration
3 years.
pilots, yeah,
Yeah.
or even shorter sometimes.
Yeah. It could be
Uh,
shorter.
uh,
It
uh,
could be 2 years and a half. Yeah.
Anything else on when receiving funding?
No, I think it's yeah, more or less what what they don't like the value well in life projects is, for example, if you need for some technology to request for a special permit or things like that. That
Okay.
is something common in environmental projects, no? That you have to request a permit to the national authority
Mm-hmm.
to implement this new technology. And this is something that if you could move even before that the proposal application, it will be the best, okay,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as possible.
Uh-huh.
Not at the beginning of the project, maybe at the beginning of the proposal preparation, no?
Yeah.
In order to ensure that you have the permit on time.
Indeed, because if they don't get it, then like it's
Yeah, it's a risk.
obviously. Then if everything falls apart because they don't get a
Yeah,
permit, then
yeah.
uh,
They see this like a risk. Yeah.
uh, yeah, we're not going to go into details about how you implement a project here, because that's not that's also an episode for itself.
Another episode.
Let's move on to that. We're soon finished out there, dear listeners. We're soon finished. Now we have reached to do's and don'ts. If you have some core tips on what to do and not to do when applying, Maite, you can share with the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's with the do's or tips, no, in
Mm-hmm.
order to apply it. Well, it could
Yeah.
be like very easy ones, no, related to read very well the documents. No, it seems very easy, but sometimes it takes hard because in the live program you have a lot of documents. Not only the It's not the only the topic like in Horizon Europe. No, you have the work program, the guidelines, also the facts. No, you could
Mm-hmm.
find different projects.
Yeah.
Also, it's very important to review the live previous projects, okay, in order to ensure that what you are going to submit have not been submitted in the past, because
Mm-hmm.
it's something quite logic, but you have to check it in the live database.
And there are lots of life projects that have
Yeah,
been funded. Also, I can reassure you within the area that you, dear listener, are sitting and working with. So you need to find out what within your area has been funded, and make a little Excel spreadsheet, maybe something like this, where you can say,
yeah,
okay, what have they done that we want to
yeah,
do?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
to make sure that you don't, because they're not going to fund you if
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
the
done
key.
before.
Yeah. You have to find what is new related to your project. Maybe you find something similar in the live database, but you have to show what your project is innovative respect, no, of that other projects that could be there.
Or at least you should show that they didn't solve the problem.
Yeah. Well, the project, yes, the problem is still not solved. Yeah, it could be possible. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it could be, of course, it could be possible. And so this is a practice that should be carried out. And also, yeah, what is important, as I mentioned before, is to explain they don't found, for example, if you have an environmental problem, but it's very specific of your region. Okay, you have to try to solve a relevant environmental problem in Europe, not only a regional one.
I
Okay.
remember this principle of replication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a life very. You also have it in Horizon Europe, right? But it's not so
Yeah.
explicitly
Yeah.
mentioned in life. It's explicitly the
Yeah.
replicability of what you
Yeah.
want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really important to enhance replicability. And also, if you could start replicability some months before the end of the project, it will be very well evaluated. And this is quite difficult, Nils, as you say, no, to
Mm.
to explain how you are going to replicate your project, to different, you could replicate to different regions, but yeah, it's very important in relation with the impact. Also, another important thing, as we mentioned, is to don't include research activities, as we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And TRL usually it is not explicit in the live program, but TRL should be like at the beginning at 5 more or less, and at the end at least at 7. Okay, although it is not explicit,
Yeah, the TRL level. Yeah.
it's something that it should be also considered. And what we recommend is to also to not let the KPIs until the end of the proposal preparation. No, you have to start to dealing with that
Yeah,
quite
it's
soon. No.
really, dear listeners, that's a very complex table.
Yeah.
And because the information you need to gather, it's something that you as a private company, you might even know when you look at it how you would get that information, and sometimes you need help. Not necessarily from if you have a consultant helping you writing the proposal, but you might need someone. You might need an organization in your country or something like a government or agency or something like this helping you identifying the figures that you need. It's complex, so it's
Yeah.
indeed this. You cannot just there's a table here. We will do
Yeah.
that. We will do that the last week.
Yeah.
No, it's it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, because also you have to explain the rationale behind this figure. Not only to put a figure, you have to explain how you have estimated this figure. So
yeah,
it's difficult.
yeah.
And then also it's very important, well, as quite similar to Horizon Europe, to quantify very well the objectives, describe very well the baseline, and all of this. And as you mentioned at the beginning, it's also important the policy part, how you are going to influence, not only to explain very well the technological part, but also explain how your project is aligned with the live program, but also how you are going to address policies, legislation, and so on. So that part is also important.
Uh, and then I think that if you're used to other funding schemes, and I'm looking at you, Horizon Europe. If you're used to working with bioeconomy or circular economy or something like this, or environmental projects, if you've done that in Horizon Europe a lot, or at least a couple of times, don't assume that it's the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really need to take it, because this is something that is a very easy to do, to think that it's the same just with a twist. You need to. I made that mistake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sort of. I didn't read closely enough into the documents behind,
Yeah,
which gave me troubles later on when I started to develop the proposal. Right. So it's. I'm not the only one that
yeah.
would do that. It's a common mistake to make, especially as a
Yes,
professional
yes, yes.
grants writer, right? Because
Yeah,
you're so
yeah.
busy. You're so busy.
Yes,
So it's my job to find out about a funding scheme.
yeah,
Okay, you maybe have surface knowledge of it, or you're like, and then
yes.
then you start to work the same way as you would with Horizon Europe. But you have some very different principles, as you have heard here in the program. So you need to understand the logic behind that and get into the discourse of how that works. Alone the point system of how you are rewarded, the valuation regime. It's important that you understand how that is before you put your pen to paper. So it's
Yes, basically, I think it's these the main tips, that yeah should be considered. Yeah, as you say, yes, maybe yeah, Horizon Europe now. it's quite common. I mean, in all projects, also you have to introduce policy recommendations, things like that. But in life, it's something that it's critical, no? And it could be not only policy recommendations, no? You have to go beyond that, no?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a deliverable.
Yeah.
No, Maite, we actually finished now. It's we made it. It's always
It has been short.
these
Yeah.
recordings are always it takes like because there's so many things you need to go through. Now
Yes.
we are here, and I will continue. Now this is the first episode in the whole grand series. I have more than 80 episodes released when
Yes.
so I came to 80 episodes before I reached the live, but that's like this. I can't take everything at the same time. So now there's some live content for you out there. So I will continue moving down the rabbit hole of life also. So there will be episodes coming up on how to develop proposals, how to develop, how to run projects, and so on and so forth. Project examples. We'll get.
Yeah, that's great.
So looking forward to that. The Grand. For now, Maite, we need to. I always have the segment, the toughest challenge. So toughest challenge, working with the life program.
Yeah. Here, well, you refer here with the parts that are like more difficult, no, to accomplish in the life.
The thing
Yeah.
that when you sit with this, okay, this is
Mm.
something that our listeners should be really aware of, because it's something that can be tricky to work with.
Yeah. Well, we have already said, I think that from one hand is the KPIs now that we have mentioned, that this is something very specific of the life program, and usually, it's very difficult to estimate this at the beginning of the preparation of the proposal. You let it at the end because the customers now have problems, as you said, also to estimate, no, or the companies to estimate these KPIs. So it's something that it's quite complex to include it. Also, as we mentioned, I think for some priorities of life, it's very important to involve public authorities, no? And this sometimes at the end they are involved with a letter of support or something like that. It's quite complex, no, to involve them. And yeah, there are they have maybe there are very important for some of the priorities, no, that are very related with to influencing the legislation, no, and policies, no. So
And why that's tough, that's because it's politicians
yeah,
and political level, and that can be quite tricky sometimes to
yeah,
get a supportive letter.
yeah,
If it
yeah,
doesn't fit, or if there's something, you never know with politicians. If there's a particular thing happening in that specific municipality or region, where the guy who would need, a woman who would need to sign this said, no, I'm not signing
yeah,
this, because we just have a big issue with that in this or this city, and it's a huge problem for them politically. So yeah, that's tricky. Or the time to sign it, or they say, oh, we need to have the meeting in the municipal board, and that's not in 2 months, and you have a deadline in 3 weeks.
yeah,
Stuff like
yeah,
this. Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
yeah. It's quite complex, and they need to be involved sometimes, no, depending of the priority of that your top, yeah, that your proposal is aligned, no.
Yeah.
And also because you say that you are going to change, they are going to have a role, no, in the political part. And also one of the, I will say that the level of detail could be also higher than in Horizon Europe related the excellent part, because should be everything very quantified. Although the consortium, no, it's could be very small, and it's not going to have problems, no, with that, no, because it's quite easy to contact people and so on, no, because there is quite a small. the information needs to be like very precise, concise, simple, and with a high level of detail to quantify very good the baseline. And sometimes this could be hard, no, to have everything like very well quantified.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
And the last, I will say, I will repeat again, we have this year the problem of the summer, no? That it's something
Yeah.
that
It is.
it is a problem. It is a problem because, yeah, it's very difficult, no, as we mentioned, to prepare something in July and in August, no? So it's a challenge also, no, here to have this deadline and prepare a good proposal, no? Also to involve a public authority, no, in this period is almost impossible, no, sometimes.
Yeah.
So
In the south, August, forget it.
yeah.
Never. In the north, it's July. Forget it.
Yeah.
Cannot
Yeah,
get anyone in contact with anyone in Scandinavia
yeah,
or Germany in July.
yeah. So this is also a challenge, of course, to prepare because you have to prepare a full proposal that it's no, I don't mind if it's 40 pages or 120, but it should be very good prepared, no, and needs time, no. So what I want to say is that some people maybe say that okay, life projects are easier, no, than an Horizon Europe. Well, it could be easier in terms of the consortium, no,
Mhm.
and you don't have this limitation, and you could prepare something that it's like smaller and but. In any case, it needs times, no, to prepare the proposal.
It's a very dangerous assumption.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It is
I think so.
because I had that assumption when I did it.
Yeah,
It's very dangerous.
yeah.
Don't take it seriously. Really, no.
It's a very competitive call. Yeah, in any case. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
No, that's a gloomy note to end. Before we say goodbye to the listeners, I'm just going to land the program. But thanks for this.
Thank
Very
you.
well
Thank you
done,
so much.
dear listeners. Thank you so much for listening to the end. As mentioned, this is the first in hopefully many programs about the life program. Remember to go to my website, thegrant.eu. Check out the back catalog. If you're life aficionados, you won't find anything else but this, but you will find many other things that would probably have your interest. And I do have
Yes.
proposal preparation guideline, and it's generic, a lot of it, so that will also help you. Lots of other programs in there: debates, funding programs, proposal tips, implementation, and so on and so forth. Go in, browse, and check it out. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to my email list. This is the way you can help me. So if you have any sympathy for what I'm doing here, the spare time initiative, underlining that, by all means, subscribe to the podcast, and you will receive an email when I release a episode. Then, what else? Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where the flow is. That's where the flow of programs they come out. This is where I like and share stuff within this. And also, don't forget to check out my job and leads portal that I have on my website. So if you are looking for freelancers to help you write proposals, or if you have a proposal where you can need some help, you can find people in there that can help you with that. Oh, I think that's it. No more promotion. I think that's it. I always forget something. I think that's it.
Well, it's normal.
Maite, thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you for your time here in the evening. Let's say goodbye to the listeners. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Nils. Thank you so much. Bye.